All right, we are ready to go. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. We want to welcome you to the regular meeting of the Southeastern Board of Education. Mr. Hill, may we get a call?
Mr. Bloomberg?
Here.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Here.
Ms. Lee?
Here.
Mrs. Ryan?
Mrs. Ryan does have an excused absence this evening. She will not be joining us. I'll try to reach out and talk to her later on this week.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Hill. We can go right into the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. We did not need to, do we need to reorganize, do we need to go into executive session or did you move that down?
No, I think we still want to go into it first. For about.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So just for those that are joining us via web, just a few matters we need to handle prior to going into our public meeting. So we are going to make a motion to adjourn into executive session. It is now 6:03 for the purposes of discussing negotiations. We do welcome you to stand by if you like. You will see a screen with just the school emblem on it, I believe, Dr. Reed. And we will resume back into our regular meeting as soon as we're in there. I don't really have an estimated time. I can't imagine more than maybe.
I'm looking to have it by 6. Let's put it to this way: we'll plan on being out not later than 6:30. We'll just do that to help folks. Okay.
All right. May we get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bloomberg and Ms. Lee.
Okay.
All right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop streaming.
All in favor?
Aye.
I do see the red, so I right, I do see a live light there. So we want to go back into our public session of the meeting. Thank you for those that have hung around and waited for us, and for those that will join us later. We are back. It is now 6:40. Dr. Reed, we can go right into item 2.1, liaison reports. Do we have any of those?
I'd be willing to skip mine in the interest of time. I do have a report, but it's legislative. It's not that exciting.
You want to do it for July?
Yeah, I could do it in July.
Okay, that's fine. Catherine, do we have a student achievement report?
I do. I have a couple, but I would be happy, since we did take time with executive session, if you want me to wait until July, I can do that.
Is it anything that has to do with the end of the school year, going into how to handle summer, or is it?
Well, one, no, they're both. The one that I found the most interesting is restorative practices in the classroom, especially following the pandemic, when kids have not been together.
Okay. So we can hold that till July if you want.
Yeah, that actually would be a good one as we get closer to the
Right.
Agreed.
Good.
And then I'll make things easier on 2.2. The only thing, for the sake of time, a little bit later this evening, there will be a first read on the face covering policy. The only comment I want to make on that, it's written, it's pretty strict now, but given the CDC and local health regulations, I just want folks to know that it's written in language that shows flexibility. So that's how we want it to be, because we just don't know. We don't want to have to take 2 months to change something. So right now, just want to let you know, it's going to give us some flexibility if we have to go back to a mandatory face covering. Right now, the plans are for the fall is to make it optional for folks. It is not going to be mandatory unless something changes, and that's what this policy is going to do. If something changes, in 6 weeks from now or 2 months from now, you're going to give me the authority to be able to make those changes based on local health recommendations. That's all.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's just wanted to kind of say that before you guys got to the face covering policy later.
Oh, okay. Mr. Hill, do we have any public comment?
No, we have none.
All right. And did I miss your whole 2.2, Dr. Reed? I'm sorry.
No. Mm-mm. We're good. Nope. I'm good.
Item 3, minutes. The minutes of the regular meeting of May 18th, 2021, and the special meeting of June 8th, 2021 will be approved as recorded or corrected. Furthermore, the reading of these minutes will be waived. Do we have a motion to approve item 3.1?
So moved.
Ms. Falkenberg. Do we have a second?
Sorry, second.
No. All right, Mr. Bloomberg. Any questions or comments?
I thought I was going to have to second my own.
Right into item 4, Mr. Hill,
Oh,
the treasurer.
we need a vote.
May we get a roll call?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
Item 4, treasurer's report.
Recommend for approval. Item 4.1, the financial reports for May 2021. Item 4.2, the bank reconciliation for May 2021. Item 4.3, the investment earnings for May 2021. Item 4.4 is transfer of the activity funds. Item 4.5, the approval of then and now purchase orders through June 16th, 2021. Item 4.6, donations. We have a few on there. Item 4.7, the approval of the Legacy Village grants. Item 4.8, the MSP service agreement. Item 4.9, the advance of funds for fiscal year 2021. Item 4.1, 4.10, transfer of funds for fiscal year 2021. Item 4.11, this is the final appropriation for all funds for fiscal year 2021. Item 4.12, these are the temporary appropriations for all funds for fiscal year 2022. And then item 4.13, it's a recommend for approval, items 4.1 through 4.12.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. May we get a motion to approve items 4.1 through 4.12, Treasurer's Report?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg, Mr. Bloomberg. Any questions or comments?
This is Mr. Bloomberg. I was just curious I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. What is the MSP?
So MSP it's with Julian and Grube.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, it's having to do, basically they do our Medicaid audit. It's the easiest way to put it. They come in and make sure we're getting reimbursed appropriately and correctly, and then audit anything to do with Medicaid through the district.
Okay. And have we used them before?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
It's the same provider we have used.
That's
for
correct.
quite a few years.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Okay, I'm up. Under 5.1, South contract ratification, recommend to the Board of Education to approve the negotiated agreement with the South Lyndhurst Teachers Association as presented in the resolution below.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
I figured I'd give one of you a break so you don't have to say first and second all night.
I just keep hitting the mute button too late. I'm sorry.
It's like at a game show.
Any questions or comments? I just want to say thank you. For those CELTA members that are listening, I thank you. It's always a pleasure to be able to sit down and try to ratify things, to know that things will keep moving. Granted, we know if there are major differences, things will keep moving, but it tends to be contentious. So thank you for coming to the table and trying to make things happen for the district to be able to move forward educating our kids. Hearing no other questions or comments, may we get a roll call?
Well, I just want to make a general comment. We're not asking questions at the moment because we had opportunity to go a little deeper and ask the questions. So I don't want anyone listening in thinking that we're just approving a contract without ever having any kind of discussion. There was discussion that took place.
Correct, Mr. Bloomberg. And to add to that clarity, those are the reasons that we jump over to executive session. Those are the rules where we can go in and ask those, and they're not on a public platform, just so people know that as well. Thank you for that clarity. May we get a roll call?
Mr. Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Under 6.0, 6.1, let me just make a comment here, and I have my notes here. We typically, I introduce some of the new employees. We have such an enormous amount, which is an exciting thing. What I'd like to do for any of the new ones listening, first of all, thank you for choosing SEL. We are just so grateful. We'd like to do one better. We'd like to, in August, at our August regular board meeting, we'll get plenty of no's, invite some of our new members, of anybody that can come. And actually, I'd like to invite anybody that we've hired from May and June and that we maybe introduced over here, but it's nothing like maybe the board getting a chance to meet you in person. And so I want you to know we're just very happy that you've chose SEL, and I'm going to be making your recommendation. And please note that we will personally introduce you to the board and some of other important people at our August board meeting. So so you can see under 6.1, which is our certified staff, we have just so you know, we have over, you're going to see about 51 changes, and that just staffing changes, which really is a good thing. I don't want people to get nervous about that. A few things. We have obviously people that retired, quite a few that retired this year. We did have some people move out of the district, but we also created some new positions, which is really exciting. Our career connections. We also created some kindergarten positions, which means that some of our current teachers moved to those positions. And of course, it created a domino effect. So I don't want people, what's really great, we have had a tremendous pool of candidates, be they teachers or non-teaching staff, or youth development specialists. And we have a great team coming on board here, so I'm really excited. So first of all, so under 6.1, I recommend to Board of Education to approve the certified items. You can see we have quite a few appointments here at all of our buildings. As I'm going to go down a little bit, we have changes in assignment, which I was talking about. So you're going to see some familiar names, but actually who are going to be taking on new positions, and those career connection teachers. I do want to make note for those listening is that we had a posting of about 3 weeks ago or a month ago for these positions, and it caught the attention of the Ohio Department of Education, and they want to learn more about it. So myself and Melissa Thompson and our a few other team members, we will be meeting with the Ohio Department of Education, because this is, hold on one second. I think, okay. This is actually something that they've been trying to do as a department, and we seem to be the ones actually in the forefront. So then we have a few folks that a few teachers that we wish them well. They'll be moving on to either a new career or a new district, and we want to thank all of them for their time here in SEL. We do appreciate your dedication, but we also realize that sometimes time is time to go somewhere else and do other things. So we wish you well. And then we have a few other items down here, as you can see, for summer camps. And we have our department coordinators that were already approved, and that is 6.1.
Wow. May we get a motion to approve item 6.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Falkenberg. Any questions or comments?
Yes, I would like to just say two of these individuals who are leaving us, Kevin Gacka and Aaron Agras, both former students of mine. I hope that's not why they're leaving. Great guys. They will certainly be missed. And I see Barb Gray that's retiring. Oftentimes I was there at the school until 5:30 or so. And if I was walking up to check on recycling bins or whatever, there would Barb be in her classroom talking to teachers to parents, or, working on lesson plans. So we're going to miss all of these people. Those are three that I know very well. And I just want to say best of luck to you.
I do see.
Oh, that's for the next 7.1. Yeah.
Any further questions or comments? I do say thank you as well. Even with the change of assignments, it takes a lot to change an assignment when a new position is open and to go for it, especially when you've been in a certain area for a period of time. So I commend those for stepping out of the comfort zone in some of these areas, and congratulations as well to those that are moving on and or retiring. May we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones.
Aye.
We get to vote here. All right, under, give me 1 second. I want to make sure.
Is that item 7?
Yeah, okay. Yes. So under 7.1, this is our classified staff. Recommend to the Board of Education to approve the following classified personnel. We have several new appointments. I think you might know that last Matthew Gregory will be leaving us to take on a treasurer's position with the Medina ESC. It didn't take long to attract somebody who we really feel is going to do a great job for us. And I don't know, Mr. Hill, if you want to go through it first before you introduce Mr. Hayes, or how would you like to proceed? I see Mr. Hayes has joined us.
Yes. I'd start off by saying it'll be difficult losing Matthew Gregory. He has done a great job and come a long way in the short time he has been here. But as always, when I look for possible candidates for my office, I always look for best quality. And in most cases, that means that you can only keep them for a certain amount of time. They usually end up moving on and becoming treasurers themselves or whatnot. That being said, I want to introduce Mr. Dante Hayes. Comes highly recommended. He has pretty much worked in every capacity, every office within Cleveland Metropolitan Schools in the finance area, from internal auditor to manager of budgets, director of grant-funded programs, and most recently the director of accounting. He is a Euclid graduate and Ursuline College graduate, and is a Lyndhurst resident. So I want to definitely welcome him. And Dante, if you would like to say anything.
Hello, everyone. I'm just looking forward to joining the team. Looking even further, just continuing my time of working with students behind the scenes, especially in the school district that my kids will attend. And, due to some volunteer activities, I've already dealt with, a lot of some of the children throughout the South Lyndhurst district through basketball and t-ball. So I look forward to joining and meeting you all in person, and I can't wait to join the team.
Mr. Hayes, you're also coming at a good time. I asked the question about, did you have any experience with federal grants? Because we have all kind of federal grants going on, and I was so happy to see your resume and your experience in that area. And so Matthew has done a great job, and it'd be great to pass the baton to you. And we really are utilizing those funds very efficiently to the board and the public, and that. So welcome to SEL and that.
Thank you.
So we just have a few other items here. Mr. Richard Powers will be rounding out our youth development specialist positions with our student wellness funds. We are really excited. Comes with 10 years of experience. Can't wait for him to get on board. We have completed the interviews for the athletic secretary, and you can see that the selection has been made, and you've met Mr. Hayes. We do have a few retirements here with our classified staff. Longtime Secretary Pam Crane. We wish her well. She's done a great job for the district, and I'm sure she's going to enjoy some family time. And Beverly, same here, our ISA at Roland. So we thank you as well for all your years of service to the SEL School District. And then you see we have a few paid leaves assignments and a couple summer assignments, and that completes items 7.1 for your consideration.
All right. May we get a motion to approve item 7.1?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bloomberg and Ms. Lee. Any questions or comments?
Well, welcome, Mr. Hayes, to South Lyndhurst Schools. We look forward to you being here as well. I am a little sad about Pam Crane. You all know she's a favorite of mine, and she was actually there rooting for my son to assure that he graduated this school year. So Ms. Crane, if you're watching, thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Any further questions or comments? I do see a couple graduates from Brush High School in these last two areas. So we continue to do that. When our graduates apply and they are qualified, we tend to hire them. So it's good to keep seeing them on board. And Mr. Hayes, welcome aboard as well. I definitely will be letting the Lyndhurst City Council know that they have a resident that is joined our administrative roles here. So I will let them know that. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call, Mr. Hill?
Mr. Bloomberg?
Aye.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Moving on to supplemental contracts, as 8.1. It is that time of the year again. We are going to ask for the approval of fall supplemental. So you're going to see a lot of things for our fall sports. I have to tell you, I'm very excited and anxious to actually be able to attend many of the things again and see people in action. So again, you're going to see the fall from Brush High School and Memorial Junior High. And we usually put our unpaid volunteers in this area as well.
All right. May we get a motion to approve item 8.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Falkenberg, any questions or comments?
I know it was hard to fill some of those positions, so I would like to say thank you to the athletic director and the athletic department for filling those and ensuring that our students would have coaches for this school year. I know the cheerleading coach, it was like last minute finding one. I know we're still looking for a volleyball coach. If anyone out there knows anyone, we are still looking for one. But our sports and our athletics have been really good for our kids. I've been following them, especially through the pandemic and now. And the special shout out to Ryan Dugan, who was in that gym and that facility working with those children and those young men, like none other, and the young ladies as well, and also showing our female sports that, you know, they're just as important as our male sports, which I appreciate thoroughly. So thank you all greatly for all you do.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Under 9.1, just wanted to, did not click here. Bring to the board's attention the next 2 months. 9.1 is actually administrative, what we call them administrative and classified, I should say administrative assistants and classified administrators. Their contracts run from July 1st to June 30th. So what we wanted to do is get those folks on this month. Your certified contracts that would include certified, like the principals, assistant principals, and some of our exempt employees would be coming August 1st. So they will be on the July board meetings. So you're being asked to approve the salaries of our what we call our administrative assistants and classified administrators under 9.1, recommending for approval.
All right. May we get a motion to approve item 9.1?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Falkenberg, any questions or comments?
So that Matthew Gregory would change though, correct? Is that amount just the same, but that person would change, Josh?
No. So how that works is Matt is not resigning until effective July 31st. So he had a month there of new contract essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good. Yes. I'm glad you asked because I was going to have us clarify that because it might seem a little confusing.
Yeah, he's a July 1st start date. So he had from July 1st to July 31st.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones.
Aye.
All right, we are moving on to business items 10.0. So let me move through those. 10.1, student accident insurance. Again, a lot of these items you're going to see in those listening it's that time of year that we start to renew some of the things. I believe my notes from this is that there hasn't been any change to the amounts. 10.2, district insurance. 10.3, service and supplies for district-owned copiers. 10.4, our food service contract for 21-22. And then 10.5, recommending approval of business items 10.1 through 10.4.
So moved.
Second.
Just kind of jumping ahead, sorry.
That's okay. Any questions or comments on those? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones.
Aye.
We are under superintendent's items, academics, technology, innovation. Under 11.1, asking for the approval of the school calendar revision. The only change is actually their teachers come back on a Monday. Where they're looking to do some training with the teachers on a Tuesday, and then the teachers have to prepare the classes on a Wednesday. So just moving back the student start date one day. There are no other changes in the calendar for that. 10.2 for project agreement with for Ron Stewart, Stewart and Associates. Again, for those that are not familiar, Mr. Stewart helps us with our federal fund dollars and through the CCIP. He's a great help getting that stuff through. 11.3, our ESSR student handbook for the 21-22 school year. The 10.4, the Brush Arc Elite Leadership Academy. 11.5, excuse me, Memorial Arc Elite Leadership Academy. Looks like we are expanding that. And 11.6 is approval of the aforementioned academic, technology, innovation agenda items 11.1 through 11.5.
May we get a motion to approve items 11.1 through 11.5?
So moved.
Second. Any questions or comments? I do have a question, Linda. So I won't go into detail with that, but do you have to publish the Wednesdays on a separate calendar, or will that go out in like the back to school package?
Yeah, no, that's going to go out. Actually, it's going to go out in an individual letter because actually it still will constitute a day.
Okay.
In that, so it's not really a change in the calendar, but it might be a change in times. So that is something that will be going out shortly as soon as we need to package a few things, and we'll go out sooner than later.
Okay, sorry, yeah. I didn't mean to be premature, but
no,
I
that's okay.
didn't see any highlights on there.
No, because again, yeah, good question. Again, to being totally transparent, we're going to get some information out. Just had to make sure that certain agreements were in, just so folks know, we had to make sure certain agreements were in place. And once those agreements are in place, it allows me the opportunity to communicate certain changes to our staff and our family. So yes, we'll just, it'll start to roll now.
Okay, perfect. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee.
Aye.
Okay, we are under Student Services Strategic Partnerships. We are still continuing with our commitment with conscious discipline. So looking for the approval of coaching services under 12.1. 12.2 is the agreement with College Board for PSAT and other testing materials for the 21-22 school year. And then agreement with the EMS LINQ, that again, registration gateway for our student service department, and recommending the items under student services 12.1 to 12.3.
May we get a motion to approve items 12.1 through 12.3?
So moved.
So moved. Sorry, second.
Ms. Lee, Ms. Falkenberg, any questions or comments?
Yes, this is Mr. Bloomberg. I'm just curious, the College Board, why do we have to contract with them? And I know what the College Board is. I certainly gave them my money 30 some on years ago. But with so many schools now not necessarily paying that close attention to ACTs and SATs, and their relevance are seeming to be being recognized as not as pertinent. I'm just curious
With it.
Do we have to do business with them?
Ms. Thompson, do you want to come on online here and talk about our work with the College Board and maybe where we're at in the level of commitment or not with it?
Sure. So for this particular school year, we are moving forward from the standpoint of having access for the PSAT and also National Merit Scholar Qualifier. That comes also through this process. So certainly if it is something that we want to look at and revisit of the opportunities that this does give to our students, do that. But it has been historical in the district that this has been afforded to our students so that they have that opportunity for consideration. So
are we paying for any of the students? Do we pay for any of the students that use College Board tests and materials?
So yes, have a contract is set up, and I don't have it pulled up, and I can pull it up from my other device. I have two computers. It does allow for access for those materials and that process. At the high school, they do sign them up to be able to take the assessments. This school year, as a standard, what the state allows and that the state covers is SAT or ACT. This school year, we have opted to do ACT for that purpose for what all of our students receive through the state. This is that extension to give, again, those students the opportunity where indicated to also participate in the SAT, but also PSAT and National Merit Qualifier.
Yeah, the PSAT is really important for a lot of kids who are able then to get special scholarships, that allow them to maybe go to colleges that they wouldn't necessarily have a chance to attend.
Can I say what I read, Melissa, and then you kind of tell me if this is some of the stuff that you've heard as well? So even with the pandemic, where a lot of schools lifted the look on the SATs and ACTs, the governing bodies have not went away with the test. They have just deviated from the plan this last pandemic year. And then I want to say that I ran into a school that my niece applied to, and they still had a mandatory clause of accepting the test, and it was part of the acceptance package. So is it fair to say, or for me to feel, that we can't really discard the contract yet because there hasn't been anything that says they're no longer required, even though we spent the pandemic year of schools opting out? Am I correct? And if we do decide to opt out, I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, we could be doing some kids a disjustice who applies for a school, but then doesn't have the support of their high school to get them through those tests.
Yes, so this gives students, as you're indicating, more options and more opportunities for consideration to those two colleges, universities. Certainly this school year of COVID and what happened, schools by and large colleges and universities did make some adjustments with regard to what was necessary and required. This again is just getting us back on track with what we have been providing to our students that are eligible and wanting to be eligible and be considered for those additional scholarships and other opportunities.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to 13, special education. Looking through my papers here, excuse me. Again, a lot of these items you're going to see are contracts for the upcoming school year. 13.1, the Clinic Learner School of Autism tuition agreement. 13.2, Cleveland Site Center agreement. 13.3, Educational Services of Northeast Ohio. That is the PEP agreement for admission. 13.4, the Lindemann Bell contract. That is a learning process for virtual services. The 13.5 PSI LPN summer program. 13.6 re-education services student agreement. 13.7 special needs solutions contract for the upcoming school year. 13.8 the STEPS educational group contract. 13.9 a contract with Galtakis. 13.10 the Weissner Reading Clinic contract, and then 13.11 approval of special education items 13.1 through 13.10.
May we get a motion to approve items 13.1 through 13.10?
So moved.
Ms. Lee,
Second.
Ms. Falkenberg. Any questions or comments?
I've got a couple of questions. I read through the Linda Mood Bell contract. My question is, you indicated, I believe, that there are 3 students that we're looking at. And is that 20? I can't see the amount. Is that 22,000 for a semester for each student? And I know, and why has this been presented?
So the way that Ms. Bowles has not joined us here this evening for me to ask her, but the way that I see this is, and written, and I will double check it, Mr. Hill, is that the contract will not exceed that amount, and that not usually would indicate otherwise if it was per. I'm thinking the way that it will not exceed that amount between those dates.
Right. So does that mean that these students aren't going to school every day? I mean, I know as a district, we are required to provide, by law, the least restrictive environment and an environment that is best suited for this particular student. And we have approved others before, and we are tonight with the Cleveland Clinic Autism, and I understand that, and I will be more than happy to approve it. But why are we contracting with this learning institution that isn't even local for these students?
So let's also, Dr. Reed, before we go, let's keep in mind, I don't know what kind of information will be exchanged, but that is a confidential agreement.
Yes.
So I don't need to know names.
No, I don't. I'm just not saying names, but I just want to say for the public that's listening, so no one thinks that we're cutting around the corners. It is a confidential agreement, and if I'm not mistaken, sometimes that involves litigation, correct?
Yes, so I'm not at liberty to give more details on that, and I know that's frustrating, and I apologize. But it was part of a confidential agreement between the district and the party involved, And, you know, I can't really say at this point why this particular one was selected for that. But I can certainly follow up and give what information I might be able to give.
Well, then I cannot and will not vote on this particular item tonight. So I move to remove the Linda Mood Bell contract from the rest of item number 13.
So here's my
Is that
question in
legally
regards to that.
possible?
I don't think we
Is
can
that
legally do that.
possible? Because it is. Can you legally do that? Because that is a case that is in litigation. So, in my understanding, it derived out of probably a negotiated lawsuit. And then, if we separate them, doesn't that put us possibly in another discriminatory piece? I'm a little concerned about that.
Let me speak a little bit to it too. And Neil, I'm by no means discounting your concern, because obviously that is a lot of money, taking the student out of it and just looking at dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, that in most cases that I've seen with this, in my experience, the distance and the cost is usually determined based on the specific need of that student and their IEP. So if they are in need of a specific service, I've seen people transport and have to. The district is responsible for transporting the student out of state. In when you look at that as a whole, the $20,000 per semester is actually nowhere near kind of some of the higher points I've seen these contracts. So and Jen, from working with her, I've seen her actually do a very good job of finding not only the closest place to limit transportation costs, but also the least expensive without any impact on the services provided, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. And I know that there's been other situations, and it was explained, but having a fiduciary responsibility as a board member, in my own good conscience, I can't vote for allocating this amount of money to something I really know nothing about.
Well, so may I ask a question? Neil, did you email Ms. Moles or Ms. Morris? Did you reach out to that office when we received this information last week?
I did not.
So then that's not fair to the other board members, because I actually did reach out to Ms. Moles and Ms. Morris when I saw that and asked the question, and they are more than willing to answer any questions that we have. Ms. Moles even being on whatever.
Well, that's good for you, Erin.
Yes,
I had surgery. I had surgery this week, so I had certain things going on. That's fine. I will just vote no for it. For the whole thing.
I'd rather vote no in totality, just to preserve the confidential litigated agreement that is attached to this rider. Is that fair to say?
I'm gonna do what I have to do. Okay, you do what you believe is legal and appropriate and according to Robert's rules.
Okay, because special ed is a little bit different than autism. So let's go ahead and take the vote. If that means a no, respectfully, all the other items there, I want to say for you, Neil, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're objecting to everything else in there, but because it is a total package, we will take the no and respect that.
For the record, correct. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg?
Aye.
Mr. Bloomberg?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye. Into item. I'm sorry.
That completes my items. I was just making note of that.
Okay. We'll go into item 14, Board of Education. Does any board member have any information they want to relay? I know it's summer, so there's probably not a lot going on, but.
Not necessarily information, but considering all the circumstances, I thought graduation was really nice. And I have no idea how much money we've spent in the past schlepping kids down to, Playhouse area, and then the inconvenience of families having to schlep on down there and pay $15-20 to park. I thought the graduation was wonderful. I felt a greater sense of pride being that our students were graduating from their school, not at some grand looking building. I would guess it was hot, but that is something that, that's something that I don't know if, like, with all the air conditioning that's being put in, if that will end up being air conditioned, but we could probably figure out some way, if it is hot, to not make it unbearable. But it would be my recommendation that if we can't do it outside, that we continue. I guess my overall recommendation is that we keep graduation at our high school.
The intimacy with the closeness of everybody was, yes, it was hot. We were all hot, but it was really nice to just see everybody up close. I think everybody was just so happy. It did seem nice, surprisingly.
And, some of the comments that I had heard afterwards from some of the students, because we went back to a friend's house, they liked the ability to take their photos, to stay there as long as they needed to. Those photos that they were able to take in front of the school or somewhere that was on the school property that was, near and dear to them, that they took with their friends. The fact that they were already home, essentially. I think, to me, it seems like the students got more out of having graduation at their high school than some downtown location.
Thank you, Neil. I have the same sentiments. I'm not going to belabor the fact besides the cost and the heat. Other than that, I think it was awesome, and it was very intimate to be home. I'm not sure if everyone got the letters for Lyndhurst. I believe they're going forward with their parade this summer, so I did get that. If you guys would, how do we typically do it? Just let Beds know if we're going to be marching in the parade. I know some of us are up for election, so I don't know if you're going to be marching alone, carrying your own banner or not, but please respond to Deb and let her know if you're going to be in the parade, because I'm sure, Dr. Reed, are you going to be in the parade this year as well?
Yes, we're already planning on that. So two things. We have Lyndhurst home days, and the South is actually doing their Rock the Block, which they normally do in June. We've got notice that they do have an August date as well. It's a little bit different type of event, but it looks like our cities are moving forward with some of their traditions. So yes, let our office know, and we are planning to participate.
I did not get a letter. When is the home days parade scheduled for, so I can put on my calendar?
It says September 12th, Lyndhurst Home Days Parade, and the new time is 12 noon. I got a letter, and I'll just say for clarity, Neil, it wasn't like addressed as the board. I think it was because the first year when I ran, I enrolled in their parade and held a banner. Okay. So I think that's why it came to me again. But I did fill it out, and I think I indicated that I would be walking with the school.
I'll have Ms. Betts send out some follow-up information so you guys can have it. And then you can figure out whether that's something that can go on your calendar.
Okay.
Wonderful. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And then July's council meetings, July 5th and July 12th, I'm slated to attend those. So I will be attending Lyndhurst meeting and South Euclid in whatever capacity they meet. If they meet in person, I will go there. Since we're here on live, next month, am I correct, Dr. Reed? We as a board will be back into the building, but our feed will still be on video.
Yes, that's correct. Starting with our board work session, I believe that's July 13th, maybe. I don't have my calendar. So And then our regular board meeting, the 20th will be at the board office as it was pre-COVID.
Yes, July 13th and 20th is correct. So for those of you residents that are listening or whoever is listening, feel free to continue to log on with us online. I know this will be new for us going back into the building for the first time. So we have to get through the kinks of how many people in the room, how does it feel comfortable? What is that airflow like? So be patient with us as we transition back in. Keep in mind, it will be our first time coming back in as well. So please don't slay us if you show up in droves and we don't know how to deal with the crowd. So I will say that. Anything else, Ms. Lee or Ms. Falkenberg?
Nothing from me.
No. All right. I don't see any more new and unfinished business.
Sorry.
We have board policy item 14.3, first reading. The superintendent, oh gosh, I'm losing my space. Hold on one second. I'm coming. I can open it up here. Superintendent presents the following policy for first reading and preliminary review. South Euclid-Lyndhurst Board of Education will be asked to vote and adopt this policy at the board meeting being held July 20th. That is policy 8450.01, which is what you held up earlier, the protective facial coverings during the pandemic/epidemic events. That will be a revision, as Dr. Reed said before, to give it a little more leniency as we move forward into that school year.
If it's okay, Mr. Hill and Board President Jones, if they'd be okay, I wouldn't mind getting that approved at the work session on the 13th. We typically do it at a regular meeting, but I'm kind of anxious to get that flexibility sooner than later for our employees. If Mr. Hill, if he could make note of that, I would like to present it on the 13th.
Okay. If we can get that in the minutes, that's fine. We can get that in, Mr. Hill. So approve that at the work session. The item 14.4, board policy, we've got policy adoption. Following policy was presented for first read and preliminary review at the board meeting held on June 8th, 2021. This is policy number 8600, which was a revision of transportation. May we get a motion to approve 14.4?
So moved.
Second.
Bloomberg and Ms. Lee. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, may we get a roll call?
Mr. Bloomberg,
Aye.
Ms. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Falkenberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Jones.
Aye. Mr. Hill, do we have any public comment? I do not see any.
No, we do not.
Perfect. And I believe we do not have a need for an additional executive session. That's my understanding.
That's correct.
All right. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Oh,
It is. It's now 7:32. I did not hear that. I'm sorry.
I got Ms. Falkenberg and Ms. Lee.
Yeah. Other way around, but that's fine.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in this evening. Enjoy the rest of your month, and we will see you all next month.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I didn't stop streaming yet. I did it the last meeting. I got it.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.